Rough Tiger production.
And you, and you, and you, and you were there. Some of it wasn't very nice, but most of it was beautiful.
Hey, welcome back.
Hello, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are things up there?
It was a stunning 58 degrees today, and I looked at my little weather forecasting thing on that phone of mine,
Uh-huh.
and it's going to snow again Thursday. So
Yeah,
spring continues here in Colorado. Springtime in the Rockies.
the last snow is it always Easter or always Mother's Day? Isn't it one of
Mother's
each?
Day, yeah, Mother's Day, on or near Mother's Day. This is not weather forecasting central. This is Dream Idiots. My name is Morse, and the other feller there is Brian. Each week we gather together here in solemnity to tell each other stories and bring you along for the ride.
Hmm. And this week our curse word is occluded. Occluded. No, not really. Thanks for listening, folks. We appreciate you tagging along with us. Please like and share and subscribe our stuff on whichever platform you're on. We appreciate it. Check us out at dreamidiots.com. Drop us a line if you want. If you got a story idea for us or a curse word, dreamidiotspodcast at Gmail. And we're on Instagram and Facebook at Dream Idiots. You can even check us out on Patreon at Dream Idiots. Our audio's there for free. You can see our mugs talking as well. It's not very riveting video, but you can see it if you want. It's there. And we're also on 101.5 FM here in San Antonio for those that are local, Tuesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m.
Yay!
Woo.
And thanks to the folks at Empower House Radio for reaching out to us and working with us in that regard. We do
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Brian, we are well past the 100 mark. We are at episode 110 today,
Mhm.
which it's hard to believe we've lasted this long, and that you have yet to figure out a way to strangle me through the through our Zoom. I get to go first today. We have no announcements, as I understand it.
None.
So I was thinking, and I know what thought did. I It's that time of year where we've got a lot of folks in town here in Denver along the Front Range who are here on spring break to go skiing at one of our many ski places
Mhm.
here in Colorado. I think they call them ski places still. So when I was a kid, I was very fortunate that I got to go on a lot of vacations with my parents and trips to different places. And as of this date, I figured out, actually, I've been saying three, there's four states I've yet to go to. Wisconsin, North Dakota, Michigan, and Delaware are the only four states I've not been to. So three kind of clumped up in the middle and one on the East Coast. So I thought for this one, given that folks are maybe traveling here and there, I've got a list. I've put all 50 down, but I'm just going to focus on the top 15. The top 15 United States attractions. And I've taken this from a list from a WordPress.com article, Wikipedia to back things up and change the numbers around because the article is a few years old, and kind of beef up the numbers a little bit and bring them to current day. So what I thought I'd do is I would go through the top 15 and see if you can guess what they are in each state as I give you the state and the
Okay.
number of people who pass through there per year. So what they've done is they've taken the top attraction in each state
Uh-huh.
and then made a list of it from one through, it's actually 51 because they do include Washington, D.C. I'll take care of that when we get
Okay.
to it. I'm going to give you some examples just to kind of get us started here. Number 50, Vermont. 350,000 people per year visit this place in Waterbury, Vermont. Want to take a stab at what it is at number 50?
Water. I'm
Waterbury.
I'm gonna get most of these wrong. Waterbury, Vermont.
350,000 people per year visit Ben and Jerry's ice cream
Oh
factory
shit.
in
Okay.
Vermont.
If I've been thinking, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
because we're talking about commercial stuff, we're talking about
All
natural stuff, we're
right.
talking
All
about
kinds of
historical
random shit.
stuff,
Okay.
right? Rhode Island. Here's a place I've been. 1 million people per year in Newport, Rhode Island visit these places. 1 million people per year in Newport, Rhode Island visit.
Newport. These places.
Yes. It's a group of places in Newport.
Oh, I have no clue.
The Breakers Mansions. These are large mansions
Oh.
that have been owned by some very wealthy people, including the Vanderbilts.
Mm.
Yes, large mansions. Taking the tour, they're quite impressive. 1.8 million people per year, Bryan, visit this place in Michigan. It's in Dearborn, Michigan.
Dearborn, Michigan.
Dearborn, Michigan, yeah. Or Dearborn. Dearborn, Michigan.
Ted Nugent's grave. No.
Nope, close though. Very close.
Dearborn, Michigan.
This is number 38 on the list of places.
No idea.
1.8 million people per year visit what's known as just the Henry Ford or the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan.
Okay.
And then down at number 23, we've got, I bet you can get this because you have royalty and family who live out there. 4 million people visit this place in Maine. It's a national park. I'll give you a hint.
A national park in Maine.
Yep. Very beautiful one, actually.
I'm sure I've heard of it. I don't know.
It's Acadia National Park.
Okay.
Acadia National Park. And then two more before we get started. At number 19, my home state, Colorado, 4.5 million people visit our Rocky Mountain National Park here. It's not far from where I live, up near Estes Park. It's also where the Stanley Hotel is.
Ooh.
Basis for The Shining. And then a place I used to live in Utah, 5 million people visit this place every year in Salt Lake City.
It must be the main tabernacle, the
Temple Square. Yes, sir.
Temple Square, whatever. Right.
Okay, Bryan, let's see how you do with the top 15 most visited attractions in the U.S. And you're not going to get this first one, so you're going to start off pretty crappily. 5,365,474 people visited this place in Virginia. And it stretches, I'll give you a hint, it stretches all the way across the state. From Shenandoah.
The Blue Ridge.
Damn,
Parkway.
very good. Blue Ridge Parkway. Very good, Bryan.
I've seen it. I've been there. I've done that.
Number 14, Tennessee. 6,940,000 people have visited this place in Eastern Tennessee.
Eastern Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me a town name?
Nope. It's big though.
Is it Dollywood?
It is not Dollywood. It's a national park.
Oh, in Tennessee. Is that the Smoky Mountains National Park?
The Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
Yeah.
Very good. We don't have a number 13 because we have two tied for number 12. Start with this first one in Oklahoma. 10 million people visit this place every year in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. Jeez. There's nothing there. City. What's there? I don't know.
I thought it was going to be the Murrah Building Memorial, but it's not. It's not the Oklahoma City Memorial. It's the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. 10 million people visit that per year. The other place it's tied with is Washington State. 10 million people visit this place in Seattle.
Oh, the Needle.
No, Pike Place Market.
Oh, that's really?
Yeah, I know.
I've been to both, but I would, the Needle is definitely more impressive.
Number 11, North Carolina. 10,943,831 people visit this place. And it winds through the state.
Winds through the state. I was going to say Outer Banks, but
that was my first guess.
Winds, yeah, Outer Banks only wind through North Carolina.
Yep.
Shoot, I don't know.
It is the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Oh, okay. More of
Yep,
the okay.
that's right. Now let's go down slightly south to South Carolina. This is number 10 on our list. 14 million people visit this place in Myrtle Beach.
Hilton Head.
Broadway at the Beach,
No.
which is apparently a shopping complex.
Okay.
Let's go to the Northeast for Massachusetts for number 9 in Boston.
hmm
15 million people visit this place per year.
Well, Fenway, the Park, or Boston. It's either Fenway or it's Boston Garden. I'm gonna guess Fenway.
It's Faneuil Hall Marketplace.
Oh God. Okay.
Faneuil Hall Marketplace. Yeah.
Which I thought was gone, but okay.
Number 8, Florida. 17 million, 63,000 people visit this place in Orlando every year.
Well, Disney World, I say. Well, Disney or Epcot.
Disney World. Yeah,
Yeah.
Disney World. I don't know how COVID and DeSantis have affected that number. Number 7, in Anaheim, California, 17,721,000 people visit this place every year.
I assume Disneyland.
Disneyland, very good. 19 people.
Wow.
19. The answer is my house in Colorado. 19 million people visit this place in New Orleans, Louisiana, every year.
Oh, so Mardi Gras. Um, Canal Street. Wait, Bourbon Street.
Canal Street.
Canal Street. I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
Well, you're close. It's
Mhm.
it's the French Quarter in general.
Okay.
So, Bryan, you truly did have the right ta-ta, but the wrong ho-ho. You were in the right area. And here's where we bust out the states at let's call it 5.5. Washington, D.C. attracts 25 million people per year to the National Mall and the
Right. Sure.
memorial
Right.
parks about it.
Uh-huh.
So, number 5, 25 million people visit this place in Chicago every year.
In Chicago.
Mhm.
Tempted to say Wrigley Field, but I'm going to go Sears Tower or whatever it's called now.
Oh, that's a good guess. Millennium Park. Millennium
Oh,
Park.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the bean is, the big silver.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've been there
sculpture.
too. Yep. Seen it.
Number 4, 32 million people visit this place every year in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, just the Strip.
The Strip. That is
Yep.
correct.
I hate Vegas.
34 million people visit this place in Texas every year. This is number 3 on the list.
I'm going to bet that's the Riverwalk.
Damn, nailed it. Yes, the Riverwalk in San Antonio. Number 2 on the list, New York, New York. 37,600,000 people visit this place in New York every year.
So Central Park or Times Square? Which one? Central Park.
Times Square.
Damn it. Oh well.
Now,
I thought it's way bigger. Okay. Well, never mind.
I'm not going to tell you. Can you want to take a stab? It's just a blind stab as to what the number 1 visited place for tourist attractions is in the United States.
California, did Florida, did New York, did Texas. Hmm.
I'll give you 3 guesses.
Is it the Grand Canyon?
The Grand Canyon tops out at number. Where is the Grand Canyon? The Grand Canyon is number 16, 5 million, tied with Utah, New Hampshire. That, of course, is in Arizona. So there's one guess.
Where else? Shoot. Trying to think of other places in Texas, but you already said the Riverwalk was. I don't
No,
know.
that's a Texas one. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
The answer is the replica of the Boar's Nest in Hazard, Kentucky. No, I'm kidding. It's not. Kentucky actually comes in at number 40. The Land Between the Lakes National Recreation Area. It's the largest peninsula in the U.S.
Uh,
That is a recreation area in the U.S. That's number 40.
where is
The
it?
answer is that's in Kentucky. The number one answer is 40 million people, Brian, in Minnesota visit the Mall of America in
Oh,
Bloomington,
God.
Minnesota every year.
Okay.
Any other states
Yeah.
you're curious about?
Any other states?
How about New
Alaska.
Mexico? Oh,
Okay.
Alaska. Okay, we could do Alaska.
Yeah.
Alaska, the Klondike Gold Rush National Historic Park near Skagway
Hmm.
gets 935,940 people every year. Comes in at number 44 on the list.
Okay.
Your
New
second your
Mexico,
your second home comes at 42 on the list, New Mexico. 1,123,000 people visit
the
the
White Sands.
Albuquerque
No.
Biological Park.
Huh.
I thought it might be White Sands too. Strangely enough, Zoo and Aquarium in Omaha, Nebraska is number 39 on the list. It's 1.3 million people every year.
Hmm.
I didn't know this, but where the Gateway Arch is
Mm-hmm.
in St.
St.
Louis,
Louis. Yeah.
yep, that was called the Jefferson Expansion Park until like 2017. That's what it had been named for years. I always thought it was the Gateway Park, but
All
it
right.
didn't. Yeah, it had a different name for years. Lots of places that I've been to here. Glacier up in Montana gets 3 million people a year.
Yep. Been
Yellowstone
there.
National, I've been there. Yep. That's number 30. Number 29 is Wyoming, a little over 3 million people. Yellowstone National Park there. The state I've not been to, Delaware, 3.5 million people visit Rehoboth Beach.
I've been there.
Hawaii gets 3.67 million people at Waikiki Beach. 4 million people visit the Atlantic City Boardwalk in New Jersey, which I've not been to, don't intend to go. Pennsylvania, number 22 on the list, gets a little over 40 million people at the Independence National Historic Park in Philadelphia.
Great.
Yeah, cool list.
Yeah, not bad.
Nice mix of commercial and national parks and historic places. I'm probably ashamed to admit that I've been to more. I've never been to DC either. I really want to go to Washington DC. Never been there because I would like to go to the National Mall and the
Mhm.
Smithsonian and all those other cool places. Never been to the Mall of America. I could probably skip that. Um,
Yeah, their gap is just like the gap, anywhere
yeah,
else. Right.
yeah. Of the 15, I have been to Times Square. I've been to the Riverwalk, obviously. I've been on the Strip. I've been to Millennium Park. I've been to the French Quarter. Been to Disney World and Disneyland. I've not been to Faneuil Hall. I've not been to Myrtle Beach. Fairly sure I've been on the Blue Ridge Parkway in both states, Virginia and North Carolina. Been to Pikes Place Market. Never been to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, nor have I been to the National Cowboy Museum and Western Heritage Museum. I was asked to leave Temple Square in Salt Lake one time. Um, and of course, I've been to Rocky Mountain National Park. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to going to some of these places. We're
Yeah.
trying to break the Michigan list trip here. We're going to go up to the UP at some point, go visit the Upers and hang
Hmm.
out there
Oh yeah, don't you know?
and just check out some of
That's
this.
more
What
that's
are
more Canadian, I think, but it's
Yeah,
similar.
yeah, Minnesota, nice. Yeah. Anyway, there's a little look at some of the more popular places in the U.S. to hang out. The
Yeah,
top 50 U.S. attractions.
summer's coming, so if you're looking for travel ideas, there you have it.
That's right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. Very cool.
I'm
Something
welcome.
different. Something different this week.
Yes, I figured I would. I've been going kind of hard and heavy on some history lately. It's time to kind of ease off things because I got a real bummer of a story coming up in a couple of weeks. So
Oh, no. Okay.
take it easy for a while.
Thanks for warning us.
Yes.
All
What you
right.
got? What do we have up next? Do we have something filthy and disgusting coming up, Brian?
Not too bad. Curse word of the week.
It's time for the Dream Idiot's curse word of the week.
Sorry. I saw it on my screen and I started laughing. Curse word is who haiku, or if you prefer, haipu, Haipoo. You can probably kind of sound this one out and figure out what it is.
Is it poems about pooping?
No, just poems inside toilet stalls.
Okay.
Poems you find on bathroom walls are called haipus. I like that. Anyway.
Here I sit, brokenhearted, paid a nickel, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly right. Or Metallica rules, stuff like that. Haipu.
Well, the big one when I lived in Utah was there were very rarely nasty words in the Utah stalls,
Hmm.
but they did like to write in the grout. So it would be like grout, grout, let it all out. These are the things that I'm talking about. It was a lot of grout jokes, and they were written entirely in the grout, not on the tiles.
That's kind of psychotic, but okay.
It's pretty funny, actually. Haipu.
Haipu. All right. For my story, my question for you is: Are you claustrophobic at all? I forget.
Uh, yes, I
You are
am.
okay.
Mhm.
I'm not really, but I definitely have some aversions that we're going to talk about here a little bit. I had a friend a number of years ago who found a hole behind his house, just not a well, just a hole in the ground, maybe 2 feet in diameter. He pointed out to me one day his house backed up to a green belt, and we were going for a hike, and he pointed it out one day, and then divulged that one day it wasn't actually on his land, but it was just 30 or 40 yards off of it. Told me that one day when his wife was gone, he grabbed a ladder out of his garage, walked out there, and slid the ladder down the hole, and took a bucket or something with him and pulled out some trash and some beer bottles, and a few critters came out, but he was otherwise fine. I thought that was just about the craziest thing I'd ever heard. I don't really feel the urge to shimmy down holes when I find them.
So
When
let me
I
get
was,
this. Let me get this straight. He put a ladder on the hole.
Mhm.
Ladder goes in the hole. You go on the ladder, and he went down the hole.
No,
And
he was telling me about this after it happened. He went down the hole by himself, and
okay,
did it especially when his wife was gone because she was not going to like this. And then I had to point out to him, if you
I don't
twisted
like it. I don't like it.
if you
Okay,
twist your ankle in there, where your wife is never going to find you because why would she look down the hole that's not on your property? But whatever. When I was a kid, 11, 12, 13, for off and on for a number of years, I did a little bit of work for a member of the Eisenhower family, as in Eisenhower Road. So
yep.
Eisenhower Road used to go out to the far east side of town, and there was some land out there that was ranch land or farmland. This was a property that was several acres in size. I would go mow the area of grass right around her house, and do trimming, edging, etc. And she had, as you probably know, bamboo just grows. You can hear bamboo growing. It just
Hmm.
grows so freaking fast. You have to trim it back and trim it back aggressively. And she had planted many years before bamboo around a hole or a pit on her property. And so whenever I'd go out there, trim back the bamboo, throw it over, I'd trim the bamboo back down to like 3 feet, 4 feet off the ground. But then I just throw the bamboo out of sight over into quote unquote the hole unquote. I didn't know what was back there. But did that and did that and did that. I'm throwing greens back there. You know, lawn refuge. It's totally fine. One day she handed me a bag of trash and said, "Yeah, just heave this over the bamboo as well." I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's littering. But I did it. But since I was out there anyway, I did finally, on one occasion, manage to kind of shimmy through the bamboo and look into the hole, and it was sort of 20 feet in diameter and maybe 20 feet deep. It was just a pit filled with dozens, if not hundreds, of trash bags over the years. So again, very, very, very strange behavior. I never quite get the whole
And all the corpses of the little boys before you who had helped her,
Right,
who
exactly.
also shimmied through the fence.
And were pushed to their doom, right?
And her name was Lady Bluebeard. I told you not to look in the hole.
Yes. And bamboo is a great little home for wasps. I was always stung by wasps whenever I worked there. So damn it. Anyway, similar to those, we're going to talk about another such hole. So we're going to go back to on at least one occasion that I can recall, maybe more than one. We talked about Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Yep, February 21st, 1997. A man who refers to himself as Mel Waters calls in to Coast. And so, for those who've never heard of Coast to Coast, it's I'm not sure when it actually went off the air. It was on the air for decades. Um, Conspiracy theories, uh, ufology stuff. It's a myriad of things, some of which were legitimate and grounded in fact, but some of it was just supernatural mumbo jumbo and a lot of stuff that was just pretty far out there. But the listenership here was friggin' gigantic. At its peak, he had like 15 million listeners, which is, in this day and age, is just a staggering number of folks. But on this day, Mel calls in to report that he has found a hole, either on or adjacent to his property as well. So he when he first finds it, he goes out there, and I judge from the accounts it's fairly small in diameter, 2 or 3 feet. Later accounts that we'll get to say it's actually maybe 8 or 10 feet. But finds this hole, peers down, he can't see the bottom, goes and gets a flashlight, comes back, shines it down, still can't see the bottom. He drops a rock and other items into the inky blackness, and they just vanish. No sound, no sound of rocks, no splash, no nothing. He asks around, and some of his neighbors report that that they knew about it, and then that they again, I don't get why this is the instinct. They've been throwing trash down this hole for years. Of course, because that's apparently what humans do with holes. So Mel then says on Art Bell that he wanted to investigate this thing more and figure out what the heck was going on. He had been sort of close to a professional angler before, so he goes and gets a line, a spool of fishing line, and first attaches a weight to it and just lets it go. 5,000 feet, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes. Pulls it back up, drops the weight off of it, attaches the lifesaver to the end of it, drops it again, and then just keeps he apparently has lots of spools at hand that sends spool after spool after spool down the hole, and he claims that he let loose 80,000 feet of fishing line down this hole without hitting the bottom. 15 miles down this hole. Other people at various points in time claimed that they saw a beam of light coming out of the hole. Others said that when you took if you took like a transistor radio out near it, you could pick up radio stations from other locations, from distant locations, or some people said that you pick up radio broadcasts that seemed to be from the past, could be music from the 50s. At one point, he was in talks with Central Washington University. They wanted to come out and study the hole. And one neighbor also claimed that his beloved Labrador Retriever died. And so again, easy dog disposal. Go out there, throw it down the hole, and then some period of time later, so a few days later, he claims that he sees his dog very much alive and well, running around the neighborhood as a stray because it has the same collar on, but won't come to him. Waters apparently casts doubt on this story and says, well, "Of course, that's ridiculous, but that's what I heard." Waters also claims that they had installed at some point they hadn't finally installed a steel door over the top of it, and there's a small retaining wall around the exterior, and he indicated that when he died, he wanted his body to be thrown down the hole as well. So listening to the segments, and actually have the links to these broadcasts. I'll actually put them in the show notes for this. Mel Waters is kind of soft spoken, but he's very articulate. Uh, the allure of the story seems to, I mean, he seems legitimate because he is cautious and he's not hair on fire over the top, and he's kind of a good storyteller. And so the fact that he is so seemingly measured in his telling of the story somehow makes it more credible to listeners. And so if you Google Mel's Hole, you'll find all kinds of sources, people who have referenced it. Art Bell Show, of course, is known for the paranormal, and Area 51, and the various things that the military is doing, and etc. Mel also indicates that on one occasion he drove back to his property and found military personnel blocking the road to his property. And then at some point, he was made a generous offer to relinquish his property and move away. Mel does call back to Art Bell's show 3 different times in 2000 and then twice in 2002. After he got this generous offer of a staggering $250,000 a month to lease the land, he allegedly moves to Australia. And on one of these later calls into Art Bell, he claims that his wife at some point, she'd worked on the campus of a nearby university. She had just disappeared. He didn't really elaborate as to what he thought had happened to her. There is, quote, an elaborate tale of government abduction. Not sure whether that's related to his wife or not. The U.S. government did remove his land from satellite imagery as well, so he claims. And then at some point along this time, he was invited to visit another similar hole in Nevada, which is on a Basque settlement out in the desert. So he goes to this one at some point in the 2001 time period. This pit also appears to be bottomless. No light, no sound, no noise. Animals are afraid to go near it. Birds don't fly over it. They're messing with the second hole, and the Basque people lowered a bucket of ice into the into the hole, according to Mel, and they pulled the bucket back up, and now it's allegedly full of a lukewarm substance that's flammable and would never melted, but could burn for months on end. And the second more outlandish and ridiculous claim is that these Basque people lowered a sheep into this hole to see what would happen to a living thing. I don't know why you start with a sheep. Why not start with I don't know, snail, squirrel,
or a canary, like a
yeah,
coal mine.
right, exactly. But they allegedly pulled the sheep back up after a fairly short period of time. The sheep is dead, but it now has a massive pulsing tumor on its side. When they cut the tumor open, there is this weird 18-inch long creature that looks vaguely like a seal that's looking at them.
Oh
And so
God, Bryan.
they freak out and they throw the sheep and the weird creature down the hole. Mel made one final report to Coast to Coast in December of 2002. And in that report, he claims that the government had become aware of the second hole as well. They took away the funky burning ice fuel. He was, of course, convinced that he was being followed. The Basque people had informed him that the creature that lived in the hole had visited them on numerous occasions, mostly to warn them about the dangers of the burning ice. So all of this is definitely out there, and is, like other urban legends we've told on this podcast, it has to be an urban legend. So does this guy actually exist? It does seem clear based on the recordings of him that he had to have been a local for a certain period of time in Ellensburg, Washington, because he had too much, conversational knowledge of the area. So it's likely it was just a fake name, and it was all a bit of a joke. Hard to know. But after the appearances on Bell's show, it then feeds various, conspiracy theorists, enthusiasts, nut jobs who want to go find Mel's hole. And so then for several years in a row, a team of quote unquote researchers would go out and try to find where it was located. TV crews would go out and try to shoot, documentaries, and I'm sure more recently do things on YouTube, etc. The reality is, geologists agree that a hole that's 15 miles deep is impossible. There'd be too much heat, too much pressure. The hole would cave in. Mel's Hole is allegedly somewhere on Manistash Ridge, right near Ellensburg, Washington, 9 miles west of town. Uh, no one has really definitively identified it. The Department of Natural Resources in Washington State is now pretty well convinced that a retired gold mine shaft was probably the inspiration for Mel's Hole because it sits pretty close to that location. It is a circular hole. It is not 15 miles deep. It's probably 300 feet deep, which is sort of average depth for a mining hole. But if you didn't know what it was, and depending on what you were throwing down, I mean, that's pretty friggin' pretty friggin' deep.
It's deep.
It's and so it may well seem bottomless. And so if someone really did, and drop down spool after spool of fishing line, which is probably just piling on the bottom, and then he pulled it all back up again. But anyway, just a funny I don't know, touchstone urban legend thing that because of how this guy seems so credible in his telling of the story, sort of gained traction. And I had been kind of holding on to the story for a while because I intended to use it at some point in some context, but I wasn't sure how to do that. But I found 4 or 5, 6 other references to it on other podcasts or and various other short form sort of video platforms where people are talking about. Have you ever heard of Mel's Hole? Listen to this. So anyway, it's a funny story and harkens us back to the stories about Coast to Coast with Art Bell.
What flavor lifesaver was tied to the?
It didn't say, so I'm
Okay.
not sure.
No,
But
was it a lifesaver candy or a lifesaver like,
like a mint, I don't know.
or no, like a lifesaver like on a boat that says
No, I
SA?
can't. I
It was
candy
like a
because
lifesaver candy.
if it hit water, it would melt.
Hmm.
That was the thinking. But just imagine if you spooled out 5,000 feet of fishing line and then you got a bite. How freaked out would you be? Oh God, got something.
Especially if you made it mad, like if you gave it wintergreen or something, and it was just. Yeah, I could see catching something with like butter rum, but
Right.
um,
I don't want juicy fruit.
I have never heard of Mel's Hole. I have
Mel's
never
Hole.
heard this story. There's lots of okay, so the Basque settlers. There's lots of Basque out in Wyoming and Nevada. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of settlements. Um, I do, are they tend to be shepherds? Yes, because they were settled in the
Yeah.
region of Spain that
Right.
they're
Historically, yes.
fighting for
Right.
Basque
Right.
independence. So they would know if you're gonna put a sheep down a hole, this community would know how to do it. Um, I've never heard of this. This is brand new to me.
Yep. I've seen it.
Uh,
I've seen it. Without seeking it out, I have stumbled across 8, 10, 12 different references to Mel's Hole over the last 2 years of doing the podcast. And there are, I mean, some of the details go way over the top, the alleged details, because obviously none of this is really true, but it's still a funny story that the people got fascinated by this hole. And so anyway, urban legend, parable, who knows what. But it's still kind
I
of
could
funny.
I could have gone without the description of the tumor on the side of the sheep.
Sorry.
Um, I'm now itching and scratching because of that. Thank you. So it's still on the air, coast to coast. George Nuri's the host. He took over hosting
Oh,
duties. He took
because Art Bell long ago passed away, I believe.
he died in 2018. Yeah,
Oh, geez.
he's
Okay.
he's been going a while. George Nuri was I think he filled in for him when he was on vacation stuff. That he took over for good when Art was well allegedly passed away, but may have been taken elsewhere. Um, yeah, this is a brand new one for me. I've never heard of Mel's Hole. All right, so you never know poking around in someone else's hole. You never know what you're gonna find.
Very true. Stay away from dark holes that from which nothing is emitted.
This is the strangest story I think you've done, Bryan. This is okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I just that see you had me you faked me out because you talked about the claustrophobia. So I figured, okay, this is gonna be about a cave in. But then you went the other direction and did the tumor thing, and that just oh God.
Did the tumor thing.
Yeah, did the tumor thing. Well, folks, if you're grossed out sufficiently enough by that one,
It's not that gross. Just reference in passing to something with a tumor. It's not that bad.
well, if you're this summer, if you're out
Yeah.
in Washington visiting Pike Place Market, head out to Ellsberg,
Ellensburg.
Washington, and
Yeah.
check out Mel's Hole.
Manastash Ridge. Go find Mills Hole.
Or if you get bored winning your millions on the strip in Las Vegas, go out and find the Basque Hole out in the deserts of Nevada, and see what you can what you can pull from them. That would be that'd be cool. All right.
Right, there
Anything
you have
else,
it.
Bryan?
Nope.
Thanks, Bryan. That was
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
that was terrifying and gross.
Yeah. So yeah, do some some Googling. There's other more detailed stories about good old Mel. And thanks for
So
listening. We appreciate it.
yes, we do indeed. And Bryan, I've got to tell you this. Do you know what next Sunday is? Besides St.
Next
Patrick's Day?
Sunday, is it March Madness?
It is Selection Sunday for March Madness.
Selection Sunday. Okay.
Yeah. So do you know what's coming, Bryan?
Oh, more college quiz.
College Quiz 5th edition.
I
I'm
won
only-
I won 4th edition, so I think we can retire this
You
game.
did. No. You won the right to play again. I'm only going to use teams that made it into the men's and women's college bracket for this year. So that should narrow it down to what, 68 teams times two.
Times
And
two.
there's probably some overlap. There's probably some overlap.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap, right? Okay. And
I'll
that
make it easy.
and that's next week's episode.
Yeah.
That's dropping on the 19th. So okay, so college game on the 19th, and I have an awful crime story on the 19th.
All right.
So
there we go.
There you have it.
So there'll be two crimes. A horrible quiz and a horrible crime story. Wonderful.
Okay.
All right, folks. Be good to each other. Thanks for listening.
All right. Bye.
This is a Rough Tiger production.
Bong bong,
Mhm.
Bryan.
Bong bong?
Bong bong.
Bong bong. Good.